But first to the US. It's been less than 4 months since Donald Trump departed the White House, and as we've seen, the new administration has wasted no time in dismantling Trump-era policies from border protection to energy and foreign policy. So how's that all going? Well, not that well. The latest jobs report is a monumental disaster. They were expecting 1 million new jobs being added, but the real figure turned out to be 260,000. The unemployment rate actually rose in April, but of course, the overwhelming majority of the US media continue to act as the Democrats' propaganda arm and pretend that it's not really a big deal. They even let this howler from White House economic advisor Cecilia Rouse go unchecked. Here she is explaining that the deplorable job numbers are partly due to Easter falling on March this year.
It was also, getting into the details, it was, I think, Easter happened in March this year. The seasonal adjustments are a little funny within the BLS report.
Great theory, Cecilia, but Easter was actually in April this year. Don't worry, it's not like the fact checkers are going to rush to correct that. After all, this is the same media that seems to have got bored of the story of the US experiencing its worst border crisis in some 20 years, with hundreds of thousands of immigrants illegally crossing the US's southern border in recent months. In fact, the US has lost control of its southern border and is on track to record more than 2 million migrants at the US-Mexico border by the end of the fiscal year. Well done, Joe. For years, the media painted the Trump administration as monsters for enforcing border protection policies and for putting children in cages. But now, as the detention centres fill to overflowing with children, with a situation so grim that some facilities are at 1,700% of capacity, the media has largely lost interest in the issue. And, they're no longer kids in cages, but migrant children in overflow facilities, just like they were when Obama was in power. Funny about that. And the media is just as blasé about the inflation numbers. Yes, the US has just recorded a rise in unemployment and inflation, and not just a little rise. The US inflation number had its biggest jump since 2008. The figure is so bad that there are now fears that it could force up interest rates during a pandemic. Inflation numbers matter, particularly when you already have 1 in 5 people struggling to afford food. But of course, the Democrats' protection racket in the media saw coverage like this from the Washington Post, who said inflation looks even tamer when you remove food and gas from the equation. Yes, brilliant idea. Let's remove food and gasoline to make inflation numbers look better for Biden. It's not like anybody buys fuel or food. They're just, little niche products. Talking about niche products, the US is currently having massive shortages of chicken, lumber, timber, microchips, gas, steel, metals, chlorine, and even ketchup packets.